In this lesson, we'll learn how to track an object in a scene using the tracker window in After Effects. Let's go ahead and drag our source footage down into a new composition. If we scrub through, we can see that the footage is pretty simple. The character just moving across the screen. And we'll just go ahead and rename this to 2D underscore tracking. Okay, and let's go ahead and go up here to our workspace, open up here under the workspaces and go down to motion tracking. Now, motion tracking will automatically bring up our tracker window. We can see the tracker window over here. If you need to get to that, you can go to Window and Tracker. That'll also bring that up. With our source footage selected, we're going to go to Track Motion. When you go to track motion, it's going to pop up a separate window for your source footage and it's going to give you a track point. So let's just go ahead and zoom into the track point. You can see that there's two squares here and a little dot in the center. The internal square is the point at which it's going to be registering and tracking within the frame. And then the outer square is the region in which it's going to look for that point. Now, the larger this region, the more computational power it'll take. Modern computers won't really matter how big you make that. It should go through pretty quick. So let's just go ahead and drag this down. What we want to do is want to find an area of high contrast on the character. So if we go ahead and drag it down, we're just going to place it right in the middle of her waistband. You can see that we get a pretty good area of high contrast between her white hoodie and her black pants. So we'll go ahead and set it right there. We're going to zoom out. And then with this selected, we're just going to go up to our tracker window and we're going to push the little play button. This is going to analyze all of our frames and take that tracker and analyze it all the way through the shot. So we see that now as she's moving, that tracker is following her waistband. It's going to run through the scene pretty quickly. So now that it's run through and analyzed, there's going to be a section here where it snaps off of her and it starts to track an area of the background. We see that where it basically just looks at the colors and the black of the background is very similar to the black of her pants. So what we can do is as she's starting to turn away here, we're going to go ahead and zoom in and then we're just going to adjust the tracker at this keyframe to be over and a little closer to her waistband. So let's just go ahead and once that's done, we'll just go ahead and push analyze and it'll analyze all of the keys from this point forward. So now that the motion analysis is completed, we can see that the tracker follows her most of the way and it gives us everything that we need to go ahead and attach different things to her in the scene. So let's go ahead and bracket this. I'm just going to do the first like 8 to 10 seconds here. I'm going to bracket my preview window and I'm going to go to composition, trim comp to work area. So that'll just give us the quick part of the scene that we want to track. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go up to layer, new, and we're going to create a null object. This null object is what we're going to transfer the motion on. The reason we don't want to transfer the motion onto our actual objects is because we want to make sure that we have the editability and the animation ability on those individual objects. We'll take a look at that in just a sec. We'll rename the null to tracker. And then we'll just go ahead and go over here with our source footage selected. And under our tracking window, we're going to go to Edit Target. In Edit Target, we'll go to Tracker. It'll be the only other thing in the scene, so it'll automatically select, and you hit OK. Then we're just going to hit Apply, and what it'll do is it'll actually apply those motions that we've just done in the X and the Y. And we'll go ahead and go back to our composition. And now if we select the tracker, we zoom in, we see that the tracker follows the person moving through the scene. And if we open up the tracker, we'll see in the position here, if we open up our graph editor, we can see that there's a quick little jump here. What we can do is we can go in and we can just run a quick little tool that After Effects has. If we open up Smoother, and then we select our position, it'll select all of the keys, and we'll say the tolerance, we'll give that 2, and we'll hit Apply. So you can see it's going to reduce those keys significantly. It's still going to track very well with the person walking through the scene. But that one area where it jumps, let's just go ahead and zoom into that. We'll zoom in here in the graph editor. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take these two keys. We're just going to delete those. We'll delete these here too. And you basically just need that motion there to be pretty smooth. So now we're tracking the person who is walking through the shot. We'll go up here to File and import a file, and in our source we'll have an image. I'm just going to use this little locator. It's going to be a little bit large when I bring it in, but I'll bring it in, it's going to be large. So we'll just go ahead and set the scale to about 8%. You can set yours to be whatever is appropriate. And then I'm going to go up here to adjust our anchor point, and I'll move the anchor point down to the base. I'll show you why in just a sec. Then we're going to move that up above the head of the person walking through the scene, and we'll just zoom back out. We'll zoom back out and turn off our graph editor, get back to our keys, readjust. So what I want is I want this to kind of follow along with her, but in order to do that, I need to attach it to the tracker that we've created. So here under your parent link, you can open this up and you can click on tracker, or you can click on the icon and you can link it directly. So now you can see now that it's linked to the tracker, it's just going to follow along with her motion. It's going to look pretty nice in the scene. So what I want to do is I want to go about 1 second in, and I'm going to select my location. I'm going to take my scale and make it 0. And then after about 5 frames, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames, and we'll make this about 10. And then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and make this 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scale this object in. Okay, so now if we go ahead and preview that, we'll just do that little section. We'll see that the object will zoom in, and it's going to be following her. Now the advantage of creating a tracker is that we can attach multiple objects. So let's go ahead and make a new text. We'll go down here and we're just going to type something like explore. And I'll change the fill on that text to be white. We'll go ahead and turn off caps lock. Oh, didn't take. So let's select our object again, go to our window, go to character, and then we'll change the foreground text color to be white. Now we'll go back to the first frame. I'm going to attach my explore text to the front of the character. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did in the last one, is I'm just going to attach explore to my tracker. Now I'm going to go in about 2 seconds here. I'm going to open up the opacity on my explore text. I'm going to turn that to 0. Over the course of about 1 second, from 2 seconds to 3 seconds, I'm going to make that 100%. So my explore text is going to fade in, and you'll see that now it's tracking along with the character. So if we go ahead and preview, we can see it's going to run through. The character is walking across the scene. We see the explore, and we see the little icon over the top of the character. That's pretty much all that we need for this lesson. If you just go ahead and render this out, this will be a good version of the movie to turn in.